Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? I hope this finds you well. Lord have mercy, here we are at the end of July, the 29th day of July. We're more than half over with the year. We got a guest host sitting in for Matt today. We got none other than the infamous Jim Dockrell.
Hi, how are you? Or should I say good day from the Great White North? How's my sister from another mister?
Well, she wakes up above ground every day.
Well, that beats the alternative.
You know,
that could just be a nasty rumor, though.
Every day I wake up and I look around. Well, here I am again.
Yeah, what are we going to do today, Pinky?
It's like no big surprises here. Here I am, right back again. You know, I hear the devil saying, "Oh no, here she comes."
Yeah, neither side wants you. I guess you get to live another day.
We got a few people out there in the chat tonight. Let's see who we got. Who all we got? We got Al out there with Kilroy's Odessa Woodworking and Maker's Shop. He makes that thing longer every week. Like we can remember all of that. He needs to just make it something short, you know, like Al's Workshop. And we got Frenzy Wicked Truth is out there. Good to have you. Mrs. Mitchell Illuminator is in the house. Good to see you. And looks like that's it for right now. So y'all need to get to sharing this out, hitting that like button. Let's get everybody lined up and in here. Maybe we'll do a giveaway after a bit. We need some folks in the house. Al says that he actually changed his Facebook to include Maker's Shop.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say he changed his face, and I was going to say that would be an improvement. I'm just being serious, Al.
Yeah, I try to keep it short and sweet, you know. BrendaG's Designs. I figure that's easy enough for folks to remember. It doesn't need to be anything, you know, real long and cumbersome.
Now, Al could be Kilroy's Odessa's Woodworking, Star Trek, 3D printing shop, and electronics.
Don't give him any more ideas. He'll be adding all that onto it. So he says, been getting sales from the Odessa woodworking part, so he's been told. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You always like to have that. He's wanting to ban you. Hey, he's in there begging me. Well, I've been working on some of my coaster tiles, and I haven't got them up on Etsy yet, but there's a set of them that I've been working on.
Oh, they're pretty. I like those.
Nice bright colored ones. And then these are a little darker, but still kind of bright.
Oh, nice.
And then I've made a couple art tiles. I want to get started making some for Christmas.
You got some talent there, girl.
Couple fishies, because I know I got some fans that love their fish, and so I thought I'd make some fish tiles. But you know, I can fiddle around with it a little bit and make a few things. Mitchell in there, ooh ah.
What's she doing?
I don't know what she's been making lately. She needs to type there in the chat, say what she's been.
Going ooh ah, maybe she has somebody there with her.
But yeah, you know, I try to make a little bit every once in a while. I've been kind of away from it for a little bit. I've been away from a lot of things, you know. I've been down like 3 months. One of my dogs died. 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, my bird died.
Oh.
Now, everybody knows Fred. You know, I talked about Fred so much, my cockatiel. And he was over 20 years old. I don't know exactly how old he was, but I know that he was hatched out before I moved from the farm, and that was in 2004. So, he had to have been over 20 years old. And yeah, I lost him. And then a friend of mine passed away like 2 weeks later. And I'm like, Lord, I can't even cope anymore. Everybody,
well, you're bad luck. Goodbye.
So I'd been dieting, and I'd kind of got away from that, and not so much away from it, but not paying attention to it.
You're running yourself down.
So then I thought, Lord, I'm going to, be right back up where I was again if I don't get to paying attention to this. So yesterday I got brave. I said, okay, it is whatever it is. I'm going to have to get on these scales and find out how bad I've screwed up over 3 months, not paying attention. And, I'm down another 6 pounds.
Well, good for you.
So, it's not as good as it would have been had I been paying attention to it, but hey, I'll take the 6 pounds off.
Yeah.
So total of 61 pounds.
Right here. I found them.
I haven't been on any kind of a special diet like Matt. He got off on that keto thing, whatever they call that, where you can't have the carbs. And
well, he had to do that for that operation he's having this week, right?
Well, I don't know that he so much had to have it for that. He wasn't allowed to have nothing to eat, I think, for several days, because he had to be kind of cleaned out. But,
well, yeah. I mean, he's got that hormone treatment going on for the last 6 months. He hasn't had to shave. So, yeah, we should support Matt, though. I like it worked for Caitlyn Jenner. So,
yeah. But, it was very important for him to have this procedure done because they had to go in and check for those splinters.
Well, he's going to be singing that song by Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Well, he had that, what do you call it, a procedure done last year, where they went in to pull the stick out of his rear end, and they got the stick, but they left some splinters. So he had to go back in and get that taken care of.
Well, that's what you get. That's what you get for hanging around with Pinocchio.
Hey, Arlene Atkinsdale came in the house. Good to see you.
Hey, hello, Arlene.
Good to see your icon back too, because over on Facebook, your icon's been missing over there, and I miss seeing it.
And there's Leonard Davis.
Leonard's in the house. Good to see you. Hope everything's going well where you are. Hope it ain't too hot for everybody. It was about 90 degrees here today. We had a thunderstorm go through this morning, and so it's supposed to cool it down now, down in the 70s for a few days. That'll be delightful. 70 to 75 degrees, my perfect temperature.
There you go.
If it would just stay there year round, day and night, I'd be tickled. But I don't get what I want. They do not consult me. I'm not in on the memos, when they're passing around the weather, asking people what they want.
Your opinion is not required.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, here it is, take it or leave it. Most days I think I'd rather leave it.
And not much you can do about the weather. People talk about it all the time, never do a damn thing about it.
Well, I think one of the things that aggravates you more than anything is these weather forecasters, because they don't know what's going on. They just make it up as they go.
Well, that's a job for me. You can be wrong every day and still keep your job.
Yeah.
It sounds like most of my jobs.
I looked at the weather this morning about, 5 a.m., I guess. And because I could tell that the sky, looked out the window and the sky looked funny. And so I checked the weather. Well, thunderstorm moving in. All right. I understand that. So I go on down and see what the rest of the day is going to look like. And they said that come about 2 o'clock, it was going to be raining, and it was going to rain until 7 o'clock this evening. And I didn't really have anything to do outside anyway, but I thought, well, it's good to know if the rain's coming in. If I do end up with stuff to do outside, I know, how to work around it. It never did rain this afternoon. A little thunderstorm moved through here this morning, was quick-lived and went on. And then this afternoon, sun was shining. I thought, If I worked on a job where I lied to people like that, they'd fire me in a heartbeat.
We had a good thunderstorm roll through last night. We were taking the dog out for a walk yesterday evening and started rumbling out. She immediately sat down, turned around, and looked at home. That was it. She wasn't moving anymore.
And she didn't go.
That's it. Didn't do any of her business. Just, that's done. Take me home, pick me up, carry me home.
Well, Scarlett lets me know when it's going to rain.
My knee does.
Well, yeah, my arthritis, it just moans all the time now, so you can't tell much whether it's weather or, it just wants to complain. But Scarlett will let me know. She'll start panting and pacing the floor when it's going to rain. And I don't know why. I mean, she's never been put out in a thunderstorm. She'll be 11 years old next month. But, if it rains a little bit, I might let her out if she needs to go. But I never put her out in downpours and nothing for her to get scared about. But, boy, she senses there's rain moving in. She'll be pacing the floor and panting and carrying on.
This one is right under the covers in bed with us and snuggled up and just freaked right out.
How's yours do with fireworks? They got fireworks up there in Kanadistan?
Hates them. He hates big trucks, hates big noisy things, anything that goes slam or bang or.
That's the way with Scarlett. She doesn't like it either. The other day, I had the TV playing in the background while I was doing some stuff, just, for a little bit of noise. Because I live downtown, all right? So there's always sirens or, some kind of disturbance going on outside. I don't want to hear all that. So I'll just turn the TV on, and let it play in the background for a little background noise to drown out whatever's going on outside. And Scarlett's sitting up on the couch, and I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention to her. She, seemed to be amusing herself, and that's fine. I was going on with whatever it was I was doing. And all of a sudden, she starts to come right out of her hair. I never seen nothing like it in my life. She was just scared out of her mind. And I'm looking around to see what in the world is this dog all excited about? And realized there was a TV show on and they was showing fireworks on the TV. And it was scaring the hell out of her. And I'm trying to tell her, it's on the TV, Scarlett. It ain't even real. Like she can understand what I'm saying to her, and I'm like, Lord, I finally had to turn TV off to get her under control because she's like, the sky's falling, a piece just fell on my head. She would have thought she's Chicken Little.
Well, this one's in her usual position.
She reminds me of that dog on The Never-Ending Story. You ever see that movie?
Yeah, she just got her hair cut and she hates it. We don't like it either. It's too short. We like her a little shaggy.
Yeah, she looks like a dog on The Never-Ending Story, the one that could fly.
The one they take a ride on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this one's spoiled.
Had one something like that when I was a kid out on the farm. Little fuzzy dog like that.
Yeah, well, she ain't no farm dog. That's for sure. Although she likes to chase a squirrel or a chipmunk now and then.
Scarlett will not stand for anything to be in her yard. That's one thing she is adamant about. There will be no cats, there'll be no rabbits, there'll be no possums, there'll be no raccoons, there'll be no squirrels, there'll be nothing in her yard.
Yeah.
It's her yard. That's just the way it's going to be.
This one is that the whole house is hers. She's the boss, and she knows it.
She's probably going to have to fight some groundhogs now because I was going last week. I was running up to get my hair cut, and there's a church next door to me. As I went around the corner there to the stop sign at the church where their flower bed is, I saw something move, and I looked around to see what was moving in the flower bed. Figured it'd probably squirrel because there's like 90 million of them nasty things over here. And a groundhog pops its head out from around a bush there in the flower bed. First time I'd seen a groundhog here. I've seen everything else,
yeah, well,
but no groundhogs.
Our Our last dog was 120-pound German Shepherd Malamute cross, and this one's 12 pounds, but bossier than the other one was.
Yeah, mine's an Australian Shepherd, and she's a cross between a miniature and a regular one, and so she goes about maybe 20, 25. Right now, she's probably pushing close to 30. She's been putting on some weight.
Yeah. A little bit of a high-energy dog.
Well, she used to be. She's coming up on 11 years old, so she's not quite as energetic as what she used to be. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's helping her put a little weight on is she's not burning it off the way she used to. And her sister's gone. Her and her sister used to run and play all the time, and she doesn't have a buddy to romp with now. But
Mr. Dutchy Dutch just tuned in.
Hey, Mr. Dutchy Dutch.
Matt's not here tonight. You can tell because the co-host already did click the thumbs up for the video.
Mr. Dutchy Dutch is across the pond. He's over there in the UK, and he's got the prettiest haircut I think I've ever seen. They got him one of them spiky deals.
I don't think I've ever seen him. I'm not sure.
I used to get on panels on shows with him every once in a while, and he'd be on there with his spiky hairdo.
What part of the UK is he from?
Well, I don't know. He'd have to tell you that. I ain't never been over there. You ever been over there?
I was over there when I was 2 years old, which is up to years ago.
Yeah.
My mom's from the UK.
I'm coming up on the 35th anniversary of my 29th birthday.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there you go.
So I don't have birthdays anymore. I just have anniversaries.
So that's the way to do it. People who have more birthdays tend to live longer.
Well, depends. I was to the eye doctor a while back, and because I got this allergy thing going, and it's got my eyes messed up all the time. And I was telling him, I said, my eyes ain't what they used to be, even though you're telling me I've got perfect vision. But I could tell, my eyes get tired quicker, and my vision will blur, and I can't read the fine print on boxes and stuff anymore. And he says, you need to take yourself down to the pharmacy and get you a pair of reader glasses down there. They got them on a rack. He says, that's what you need to do. And he says, if for no other reason, now he could have left this part off, but he says, if for no other reason, your birthdays. And I know I looked at him like deer in the headlights when he said that, because I wasn't expecting that to come out of his mouth. And I said, my birthdays. And he says, you've had a bunch of them. And I said, well, I've tried to collect them. And he said, well, collecting them ain't a bad thing, but you still need to go down to the pharmacy and get yourself a pair of readers.
Well, Mr. Dutchy Dutch says he's in London and from a part in Croydon. I don't know where Croydon is, but I know where London is. My grandfather on my dad's side was born there, and I can't find any history before him. I know his mom's name was Alice, and I don't know, and he joined the Merchant Marine when he was about 14 years old and jumped ship in Halifax Harbor and came to Canada and served in World War I. Don't know much about other than that. I got his whole military record.
Well,
he was a sapper, which I guess they call them engineers now. So
I don't know a whole lot about the history on my family, either side of it, much. They didn't keep, much in the way of records or anything. I know my granny on my dad's side of the family, I talked to her about it when I was just a kid and was writing out, some genealogy there. I wanted to know who her sisters and brothers were and who Grandpa's sisters and brothers were. And to the best of her recollection, she told me what she remembered about it. But you get much past that, and, I don't know. I mean, Mom said that her side of the family came from West Virginia, and Dad said that part of his family came from Kentucky and Tennessee, And the other part was supposed to have come from out west someplace. But he didn't really know where, didn't have a whole lot of, background on that.
It would be hard to find your relationships to trace them through Kentucky and Tennessee because there's only like 3 surnames throughout the whole area.
Well, there's something to be said for inbreeding. If it wasn't for inbreeding, I wouldn't be near the person I am today.
Mr. Dutchy Dutch says, so you got some British and blood in you. I would say that's pretty true. Well, actually, I tried to trace my grandfather back, and I ended at him in London and his mom. But my last name comes from Ireland, right from Dublin, Ireland. And it comes from a Norse Viking word, Dockrel, which means the end of a valley. And what happened is when the Vikings came over, they settled in a northern part of England, and it's called Dockrel. And when they spread over to Dublin, that's where the name got changed. And there's about 6 or 7 iterations of the name that all come from the same thing.
Midnight Scroller just come in the house. Good to see you. Welcome.
Hey, Midnight, how's it going?
We're in here talking a little bit about genealogy in the background. My mother said that her great-grandparents came over on a ship from Ireland, and that there's a lot of Irish blood in our background. But, I don't have anything to prove it. I don't have any documentation or anything on all that. But
well, Gibson sounds pretty Irish to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty fair-skinned. If I was any whiter, I'd be invisible. If I laid down on the beach and I was wearing a bikini, that's all you'd see would be the bikini, because I just blend in with the sand.
Like myself, my mom had a pretty prominent nose, and we used to ask her, where'd you get the nose from? And she says, well, when the Romans invaded England, her people didn't run.
Yeah, Dutchy Dutch says that he's half Irish.
So the good half or the bad half?
The honorary half, I imagine. I blame that for where my honoriness comes from.
That means you can't offend them, because Irish people, they just don't get offended at anything.
Well, I do. There are certain things that will offend me. It takes a lot. It really does take a lot. But
well, holding back a drink will. Pouring a short shot will.
Now, back in my younger days, I used to tip a few. I used to run, with kind of a wild crowd, and we did a little bit of drinking back in the day. But I've got away from that. I haven't had any alcohol for years now, and I don't miss it. I'm so doggone ornery without it.
Well, the reason Irish drink is because it's their job.
Well, I've had other jobs besides that. I've had ones that's a little more productive, that brings in a little cash instead of sending it all out.
Dave Hart Acousticize just came in.
Hey, hello, Dave Hart. Good to see you. Hope everything's going well. You and Dave have a little bit in common. He picks a guitar and you pick a guitar.
Yeah, I try. Don't make much music on it, but I bang away at it a little bit.
Now, that's something that I've never learned to play. I've never been extremely musical. I played a flute when I was in high school in the band, and I wasn't really good at it, but, I could kind of hold my own with the rest of them. And then when I got up in high school, they wanted me to give that up and take up either the trumpet or the trombone for the marching band. And I wasn't interested in trying to learn something else at that point because, I was a pretty busy girl. My mother had cancer. So I had the house to take care of. I had the garden to take care of. I had my 4-H livestock and stuff to take care of. The laundry to do, the cooking to do. And, trying to take on one more thing to try to learn how to do at that point that wasn't going to be bringing in any money was not something that I was ready to accept. So I dropped out of band when I was in high school. But I do own a lot of instruments.
They offered me a position in the marching band too. But they wanted me to play the piano. I don't think they liked me.
I own a lot of instruments. I have a whole pile of harmonicas I can't play, and I got a steel guitar that I can't play, and I've got an acoustic guitar that I can't play, and let's see, I've got several different kinds of percussion instruments. The only one that I'm really worth anything on is cowbell.
There you go. Well, more cowbell.
I can play the hell out of the cowbell.
There you go. Maybe it's your calling.
So I figured, I've got one thing going for me. Some people ain't got that much.
There you go.
I got one thing going for me. I can play doggone cowbell.
Yeah. Well, my daddy always used to tell me that I had a good voice for cooling soup.
Mother used to tell me that I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I think I'm a little better than that, but I'm not going to win any prizes. I'm not going to get on TV, on that America's Got Talent or any of them shows and on that thing. They boo me off there.
I sit outside and noodle a little bit on my guitar and that. I've got compliments from the neighbors, so.
I like to sit out on the back porch, out on the patio with my harmonica and aggravate the neighbors.
On Sundays?
Any day.
Oh.
Late at night. I got a big dinner bell that is on a big post right beside my front door. It's got a rope on it that comes over to the front door. And I have been known to open up the front door about 3 o'clock in the morning and grab that rope and ring the hell out of that bell about 3 a.m. Just to check and see if anybody else is awake.
See if they're paying attention.
That's right. If there's any burglars around, probably scares them off. See, I'm doing my neighborhood watch duties.
Public service, no charge.
Dave Hart wants to know if I can play the radio, just barely. Just barely. I got that car last year. And it's got all the works up there on the dashboard on it. It ain't like your old kind of radio, where you tune the dial knob. This is digital.
Well, mine in my truck is digital.
So you got to push buttons, to tell it what frequency you want. And then it puts it in a program thing. And you have to scroll across to find the channel you want, and poke the button for that. And
well, we got 2 radio stations up here. One is bad and one is worse.
Well, we got a radio station here in town. I wonder if your radio station's like this, because I've lived a lot of places around within, say, 100-mile radius of here. But I have never found a radio station like the one that we've got up here. It's a country radio station. They play country music on there some. Mostly they play whatever high school sports games or, whatever's going on at the school, whether it's wrestling or basketball, football, any of that kind of stuff. Once in a while, they'll have like a Reds game, one of the major league things go on. But of a morning, they want you, this is the thing in this town, and that's why I never know what's going on here. They want you turning on the radio at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because that's when they're going to start telling you all the news, all the local stuff that's going on. And then they tell you and they tell you and they tell you and they tell you. And during all this, they also tell you about the obituaries. And they read everybody's obituaries that's passed on and tell you when the funerals and stuff's going to be. And then after they get all done with that, about 10 o'clock, they decide that they're going to have this, I forget what they call it, but it's like a sale where if you have something that you want to sell, you call them up and tell them, and they'll put it on the radio and broadcast your phone number so people can get in touch with you to buy whatever it is that you're trying to get rid of. And that goes on till about noon. And I had never found a radio station that does such stuff as that. Usually they play the news and then they play music and, They don't tell you all the local stuff that goes on. I mean, that's kind of nice, but after 12 o'clock at noon, they don't tell you any of that local stuff anymore. You better be tuning in at 6 o'clock in the morning if you want to know what's going on local. Otherwise, you're left out. And I ain't getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to play the radio. It's got to be something pretty important for me to be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that doesn't include turning on the radio.
Yeah, well, our radio station doesn't know what it wants to be. It'll play a couple of country songs, and then it'll play a couple of new country songs, and then it'll play something from today's music, which is like auto-tuned and whining. And then it'll play a couple of classic rock songs, and then it'll play just something avant-garde, and there's just no format whatsoever.
They're trying to please everybody.
Yeah, and in the meantime, they're not pleasing anybody. Is just pick a character and stick with it.
Yep. Oh my. Arlene says Brenda is kind of famous. Her picture is in the daily crime column for disturbing the peace. Well, let's put it this way. The cops all know who I am. Most of them, when they see me, turn around and go the other way.
More trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. They're like, oh no, we're not getting involved with her again. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, you're the kind of person that when you come up against somebody that the people tell the other person, now just be the bigger person and just walk away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what they end, because I think they can get the better of me, and they found out that they can't do it. So might as well just hang it up and call it a day, move on.
Don't poke the bear.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, people have been saying that about me for years. Don't poke the bear.
You got any interesting facts for us tonight?
Well, yeah, I got a couple. Did you know that it is possible to fry an egg on the sidewalk?
Is it?
Well, it says, have you ever been told that it gets hot enough in the summer you could fry an egg on the sidewalk? Well, it's true. In 2015, when it hit a scorching 44 degrees Celsius, around 111 degrees Fahrenheit, in Perth, Australia, a man successfully fried some eggs by using the heat that he collected on the sidewalk, according to Delish. Granted, he did use a pan, which is understandable considering that he ended up eating what he had prepared.
I'd want a pan, yes.
Oh, let's see. We got another one here. Do they have Monarch Butterflies up there where you're at?
Yes, we do. We got them by the hundreds.
Okay, well, then you'll appreciate
it. It's only every third generation that makes it up here.
Monarch butterflies spend the summer in North America before migrating south. Anyone who enjoys walking in flower-filled fields, say that 10 times fast, flower-filled fields, or spending time gardening in their backyard will likely know that summer is the best time to spot butterflies. Monarch butterflies, with their orange and black wings, spend the summer months in North America before migrating south or sometimes west for the winter. You can even track their journey to see if they're passing through your neighborhood.
Yeah, I was watching a show on monarchs a while ago, and they start out in Mexico, and that generation moves up to the middle states somewhere, and they lay eggs, and the next generation migrate up to Canada, and they lay their eggs, and then that generation goes down to Mexico again. So it takes 3 generations for them to get here, and they still know the way.
Yep, it's amazing how Mother Nature works.
Yeah. It's the same with hummingbirds, too. They fly right across the width of the Great Lakes on their migration south and north. Yeah, and they're those little tiny buggers. You wonder they don't wear themselves out.
Al says that there's a lady that's growing them. Most everybody grows them. If you got a backyard someplace and some milkweed, that's all it takes, because they grab on them milkweeds and lay their eggs and hatch out.
We got one old feller up here. He's let his yard grow wild, and it's full of milkweed. Yeah,
a friend of mine, he always tries to keep some milkweed growing in his yard for the butterflies, and He's yet to get a video of them hatching out. You know, he'll be watching, and it looks like, okay, they're getting close, and he can be out there and video, and they don't hatch. And the next time he goes out, they've hatched and flown away.
Yeah.
I told him, well, they're private. They don't want you peeking.
Yeah. Quit being such a naughty boy. They're friggin' perverts.
Yeah, he says she does release them. Apparently, they were rescued from some type of bush. Yes, it was on milkweed. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Say, I'm a farm girl. I know from whence I speak.
Here's one for you. Geologically speaking, Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are the same lake. They are separated by a strait and not a river, which makes them the same lake.
Huh.
So it's just people that said it was different lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lake Superior, which is about a mile that way, is the largest surface area freshwater lake in the world. And it takes a drop of water falling in Lake Superior 400 years to reach the ocean.
Wow. That's a lot to wrap your little brain cells around.
It is. A couple of little tidbits that I picked up along the way.
Mel's in the house. Hey, Mel, how's everything going? We got Jim Dockrell on here with me tonight.
And Arlene Ed Kinsell is here too.
Now, she's been in here for a while. So there's
I
a
must have missed
state
it.
park this side of Nashville that has a massive butterfly habitat. There are thousands of the flutterbys, and they're in the summer and early fall.
Yeah, we got thousands of different kinds of butterflies up here.
I always enjoy my butterflies and stuff. They have a weed ordinance in this town that you can't have no weeds in your yard, or they're going to give you a ticket and all that. So I ended up putting a privacy fence around my backyard so that I can have some weeds back there for the dragonflies and the butterflies and all that to enjoy. They like their thistles and their milkweeds. And
is that the weed you've been smoking?
no, not that kind of weed.
Oh, okay.
They don't allow none of that around here. But the butterflies and the dragonflies and all that, they love to have some weeds. They like the nectar off of them, and so I just keep the backyard fence so that I can have a little bit back there for the wildlife. Now, when I say wildlife, I'm talking about hummingbirds and whatever kind of bird wildlife and stuff there is. I do not like the rabbits and the possums and and the squirrels. Lord, the squirrels are on crack around here. You never seen anything like them in your life.
We got little red squirrels around here. They're just bananas, and chipmunks.
Gray squirrels, black squirrels, polka dotted squirrels. There's one that ain't got no tail.
A close call with a cat.
I don't know. Maybe somebody got pretty close with the machete or something. But yeah, they're awful.
The one thing my wife misses up here is the Orioles. We don't get Orioles up here.
Now, I'm not seeing any Orioles around. I have blue jays, I have cardinals, hummingbirds, lots of finch and sparrows and wrens. And
in our place down south, we had 43, I think, counted different types of birds that came through the yard. There's all kinds of them. We got woodpeckers here. Can hear them more than anything.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I hear an owl too.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting out on the patio at night or something, I can hear an owl hooting once in a while. But there's lots of different kinds of birds, and that I'm happy for that, because there's tons of feral cats. I don't know how these birds make it with for every bird you see, there's probably 15 cats. I never seen so many cats in my life. We used to have passels of them out on the farm, to keep the rodent population and stuff under control. And I thought we had mess cats. There ain't nothing compared to all these cats that's around here in town all the time. I guess people get them and then they decide they don't want them in the house or they have to move and can't take them with them or whatever and just turn them out.
Oh, anything small around here that decides it wants to go wild usually ends up as a meal for something else. It's got lots of coyotes and wolves and bear up here.
Yeah, so far I've not seen anything like that. Every once in a while a deer might make it into town, and there'll be a big hoopla about some deer walking down the main drag of town, but normally you don't see anything like that, and there ain't no bear. Maybe somebody running bear, but there ain't no black bears or grizzly bears or polar bears or none of that around here.
I got lots. We have a little black bear there is right at the feeder, right at the bird feeder outside the living room. There's in there and lapping up the sunflower seeds. Then one morning I was up and I see this bear comes trotting across the yard, and there's a trash bin next door across the road. And he opens up that big old bin like it knew exactly what it was doing, and gets up on top of it, walks around the whole perimeter. It's only about 2 inches wide. Big old butt up in the air with his head down in it, and he gets down in there and comes out with a trash bag and runs away like a dog with a T-bone.
Yep. Might have had a T-bone in it for all you know.
You never know.
Throw their steak bones in there.
Knew exactly what it was doing, though.
Arlene said she gets cited all the time for having dandelions in her yard. She shows the receipts from Burpees where she buys dandelion seeds and they cancel the citations. So dumb. Okay to buy, but not okay to have the native plant. Now, nobody said anything about dandelions in my yard. See, I'm a farm girl, so dandelions are flowers as far as I'm concerned. When I called him Chief Weed Be Gone, the guy that was chief of police when I first moved here, when he came to my door that day about the weed that was behind my garage, and it was growing right there next to the foundation. It was about 8 inches tall. I hadn't even noticed it when I mowed. And I was in here working, tending to my own business. Here he is about some damn weed behind the garage. And I couldn't believe it. I thought they're videoing me for, some video show or something. This can't be for real. So when I got rid of him, I went out there and looked, and there's this one lonely little weed behind the garage. Here he was raising all kinds of hell about some weed ordinance. And while he was talking to me, he said, "Did you move here from the country?" And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I did." And he goes, "Oh, no. You ain't going to roll your eyes at me because I moved here from the country." And I said to him, "Yes, I may have moved here from the country, but I'm not no hick either." I said, "I got news for you. There ain't nothing wrong with a few weeds growing around." I said, "You got bigger fish to fry than that here in this town."
No kidding.
At that point in time, the house across the street had the upstairs window knocked out of it for a couple years, and nobody's doing anything about that. Just right down the street in the next block, the front porch had fell off of the house. Had just collapsed off of the house, and they wasn't doing nothing about that. Looked like holy hell. And I'm like, "You're after me over one lousy weed behind a garage out on an alley." And you got all these other problems and things that you need to be contending with. And so when I jumped him about that, he says, "Well, that's stuff for the housing commission to take up with. That doesn't have anything to do with this weed ordinance."
Pick and choose.
Yeah, I said, "So what you're telling me is that you as the chief of police have nothing better to do than come to my door bothering me over a weed behind the garage on the alley, that you could just as soon gone out there and just pulled it out of the ground and went on about your business."
Right,
if that's all it was.
You could have told them, "Hey, that's city property. Tell them to clean it up."
Yeah. Instead of coming to my door and wasting more time aggravating me while I'm trying to make a living to pay the property taxes and pay the mortgage on the house, if I'd been, I don't know, laying drunk, drugged up, not doing anything productive, then I could see maybe trying to give me a hassle on something. But Lord have mercy, don't you have nothing better to do? And yeah, so, I don't have any problem with some thistles. Now, I can see when you can let them get totally out of control and they're blowing thistle seed all over the neighborhood and, getting
But the
everybody.
finches love them.
Yeah, the finch love them. And the milkweed and the dandelions. Dandelions are actually a very good herbal medicine.
Then you make good wine out of them too.
Yep. The dandelion roots make a good tea for fighting pain. They're a pain reliever.
And there's a song about dandelion wine too, isn't there?
Yep.
Yep.
And
that's how famous they are.
Dandelion salads. My granny used to make dandelion salads, go out and pick them. You have to go out where there ain't been no spraying or anything going on because you don't want the pesticides and stuff going in your food. But you can get where they ain't been sprayed. But people get all excited. That's Matt. Matt has to have every blade of grass the exact same height in his yard. He's got to have everything absolutely immaculate and drives himself crazy trying to keep the yard just exactly. So I told him, I said, I'd love to live next door to you. I'd drive you crazy.
No, we don't have anything like that around here.
I said, I don't even worry that I got a guy that mows my yard, but I don't get too excited about it until I lose my dog in it. If Scarlett goes out to pee and I can't find her, then I know the grass is too high.
Russ Meadows just tuned in. Hello, Russ.
Hey, Russ, good to see you. Look who I got on here is my cohort in crime this week. Matt left me unsupervised. This will teach him. Now, Arlene says that she uses the roots. She roasts them and drinks it like it's coffee. Keeps the hemophilia under control,
Oh, there you go. I never knew that. There's an interesting fact.
There you go. I need to probably give her a cowbell ring for that. Matt ain't here to give her no tacos. You won't give her something?
Well, I don't know how to do that, I don't think. Can I do a taco here?
Well, if you can find them, you can do it.
I don't know. Where are we? Oh, emojis. I can find emojis.
Find her an emoji.
Yeah, I got to find it, though. I have the worst time with this. They got all kinds of things. Oh, just hold it. I found something here. Oh, we'll do something better than that.
Tacos ought to be under food.
We'll give you pancakes with real Canadian maple syrup on it.
Dave gave her a taco. You're giving her some pancakes, and I give her a cowbell ring. Well, I think I'd like to try to give something away. What do you think?
I think that's an excellent idea.
We got a few people there in the chat. Let's see. We can give something away. I'll give them the spiel on this. Now, I wrote down a number that's been hermetically sealed in a mason jar on Funkin' Wagnall's porch since 8 o'clock this morning. And I wrote it out by, the letters, not numbers, because I always put some capital letters sporadically through the word because Matt goes nuts when I do that. I love to yank his chain. That's one of my favorite things to do. I usually just get up in the morning saying, what can I do to Matt today? But I wrote down this number on this piece of paper. And if y'all can guess the number that I've got on the piece of paper, you'll win the prize if you're the first one. And if you want to put a slash mark and how many capitals you think that I put in the word, and you get that number right, you'll get a bonus prize. I ship to the 48 contiguous down here in U.S. land. If you live out of the country and you want to play, you're welcome to play. If you want to pay the shipping to get it to you, or give the prize to somebody else that's in the chat that does live down here. Guess one time. If we don't get a winner first round, then we'll have another round. The number is going to be between 60 and 69.
Oh, my favorite.
60 and 69. So when I say go, then you put your guess there in the chat, and we'll be watching to see who gets this correct. Ready, set, go.
I actually like 68 better than 69. That
Makes
means you do me and I'll owe you one. Or 77 is better because you get 8 more. I mean,
we
8
got
more.
a winner.
You do. Who?
We got a winner. Arlene got it right with number 64.
How many capitals?
I had 4. She said 5, so she didn't get the bonus, but she does get her choice out of the prizes. Now, what I always do is I offer up 4 prizes, and you take your pick on which one you want. The first one that I've got is a dragon eye pendant. There's the purple dragon eye. It's on a cabochon.
So pretty.
That's one I made. And let's see, I've got a pink dream catcher, pink feathers on the dream catcher. It does have the buffalo fetish, little stone fetish on it. So we've got the dream catcher, and we've got a little treasure chest box that I painted and decorated.
Oh, what an opportunity to grab Brenda's box.
So we got that for you. If you got little treasures that you want to put in my box. We've got another one. We got another one that we decorated. This one has, Shelly Cole.
Yes.
You remember Shelly? Well, she came up with this recipe for this stuff called sawdusto, where you take sawdust and you mix it in this special made glue that she came up with a recipe for. And some of these little embellishments on top of this box I made from her sawdusto and decorated this little box up. And on the inside of it, it's felted, so you can put your jewelry and stuff inside of there. So we got the treasure chest, we got the little box, we got the dream catcher, and we got the dragon's eye pendant. So
your box got felt.
It got felt. Felt up, felt down.
Yeah. I never felt like that. Felt before.
She said she'd like to have the dragon's eye.
Good choice.
We will put her name on the dragon's eye.
Congratulations, Arlene.
And Arlene, you know how this goes. Don't make me work for your address. If you just drop it in the messenger for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Save me that much having to dig around. And after the show, I'll pack that up for you and send it off in the morning when I go out to run my Friday morning errands.
Not bad. Did I say something bad?
I'll just keep my box here.
So it could be felt again.
That's right. Nothing makes my day any more than having my box felt.
There you go.
The NDT show. Hey, Nathan, good to see you. And Minnie on a Mission, we know who that is. That is the infamous Shelly Cole.
Hello, Shelly.
She must know what he's going to be talking about her this week, so she came in to defend herself.
Oh, Shelly's a sweetheart. Her and Shane are both nice folks.
I'd love to live close to them, where I could aggravate them every day.
They could sell you some lights. They did a whole thing on lights there one time. Some pretty interesting lights that Shane put up in his shop.
Shane's been on a big diet mission.
Has he?
Been losing a lot of weight. He's trying to slim down and trim down. He'll never make Santa Claus for Christmas at the rate he's going. I'll tell you what. He's trying to disappear.
Well, I tried to diet and try to get down to my original weight, but I thought 8 pounds 13 ounces was a bit of a ridiculous goal.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to get that thin. I would like to get back to my high school weight, I think, but I'm not sure if that's going to be feasible because I am a mature lady now, I'm not that little skinny teenager anymore. So that might be, taking too much off. I don't want to look unhealthy.
Yeah, well, same. That's the same here. I'm 6'3" tall, and in high school I was 160 pounds and wore a 30-inch waist. And if I turned sideways and stuck my tongue out, I looked like a zipper.
Yeah, you're not quite as tall as my late husband. He was 6'6", but he told everybody he was 5'18". Yeah,
I got another fun fact for you.
Okay, lay it on me.
Do you know that the distance between any two politicians is called a perineum?
That's a good name for it. That's a good name for it. Otherwise known as taint.
Yeah, taint.
Shelly's back in there as know what mom knows now, because she's afraid people wouldn't know who she was. Hey, I know who you are.
Yeah,
I got your number.
Your reputation precedes you.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've been on here about an hour. I think we ain't blown YouTube up. I was kind of surprised. I thought maybe they'd shut us down and boot us out.
I guess I was within the guidelines almost.
I'm never within the guidelines. I mean, Matt likes to have a heart attack every week over stuff that I come up with.
Well, you can get right up there till the edge, right?
Sometimes I just push it over a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, she said Shane's doing great. He's lost a lot of weight. Yeah, so much she can hardly recognize him. Well, you better be careful with that. You might be cuddling up to the wrong feller.
I remember when I was in my 20s, I lost about 140 pounds of ugly fat. Got a divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, I kicked one out once and lost 180 pounds. Just like that.
There you go.
Well, we're going to shut her down for tonight. It's good seeing everybody. There will be a Heifer Haven come out later tonight, so y'all be watching for that, because you just never know what Heifer Haven's advice is going to be. And Jim, what are you going to be doing?
I am going to be working on the church, as always. I haven't been filming anything. I haven't had time to have the camera. I've been busier than a cat trying to bury poop on a marble floor. But I'm going to try to get a little walk around done here sometime soon and maybe get a little update happening. I've done so many jobs that I can't even remember them all.
Well, Russell is not going to have a show Saturday night, as far as I know. He let us know yesterday that the family commitments come up and he won't be able to make a show this coming Saturday. So we get a sabbatical this week. But as far as I know, Matt will be back in action next Monday night with his show.
A slightly higher voice.
Yeah, something about knowing something about YouTube or something. I think he calls it all things YouTube. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. He's got about 50 channels now. He'll admit to 4 or 5 of them, but he won't tell you all of them that he's got. And then I'll be back here next Thursday night, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So, yeah, Shelly says, we miss you, Matt.
With every shot so far.
Yep.
Well, thanks for having me on, Brenda.
Thanks for being here, Jim. I appreciate it. Night, everybody.